Hey guys, so today I and we, of course, are going to uncover the gruesome story of Station 11. Now, if you don't know what Station 11 is, Station 11 is this, it's very controversial story because we still don't know the truth of what happened. Some believe that the girl, so if you don't know what it is about, it's about this uncurable flu that separates loved ones, like a whole play. The main story is talking about this play that was taking place in one of the museums in Austin, California. And one of their main characters, Arthur, had a heart attack. And Arthur played King Lear. And Arthur was known to with many girls as he did have competition. Like he was playing against friends, so the more women they banged or slept with, they would win points, and their points would not, it would not like give them like an actual like winning prize, but it would give them respect in a sense, because guys in the civilization and still the last civilization were still the same, and girls and guys are the same when it comes to respect. Girls want, of course, they want more knowledge, beauty, and guys are just more like slobs or like slobs. That's how they get respect, which could be unfair. Anyways, today we're going to be interviewing four people, four victims that still survived from the flu. This intro's getting a little bit long. Four people we're going to be interviewing. So first we're going to be interviewing Kirsten, who should be me looking at my fake Rolex that I don't even have, that I really want, and should be arriving within like 5-10 minutes. So I'm going to prepare the studio, let her in, but please note that some of these victims have been, well, not some, but all of them, even Elizabeth, who was Arthur's second wife, has been through some dramatic times, especially bringing on to her son. So please note that this video is just to uncover what the story is, and it's not to criticize how the people are dealing with, because everyone deals differently. So stay tuned for Kirsten's interview. Hello, we finally have you in today. Oh my god, how do you feel?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Surprisingly, I have no regrets.
Oh. Before I ask you questions regarding this interview, may I ask you what you mean by that exactly?
I think after killing those men with, these are my, like, results, I feel at peace with my thoughts, my inner thoughts.
And you show those up as an accomplishment?
Yeah, I do show them as an accomplishment, only because the voices, they stopped haunting me.
Oh, no, I'm incredibly sorry about that. But can we get through the interview just a little bit? We're in a bit of a time crunch. I'd like to ask you, after you got the call from Jeevan about this flu spreading around, did you ever see this new civilization just like bloom into your imagination?
I don't know. I just kind of assumed that it was a joke or that Jeevan was overreacting. Yeah.
Okay, and how would you say you survived this whole experience? Like, how you got split up from the symphony, your parents died. I heard about that. I'm so sorry. How, oh, this is so hard to talk about it. But how you got split up from the symphony, you traveling with August, you still not being over Saeed, which I think he still likes you. We're gonna find that out later. And then the killings of the prophet. How did you survive that mentality that everything's gonna be okay?
I don't remember. It was a bit of a blur, but I do recall someone taking their own life after I could have been killed, after my family.
Okay, go on.
I lost my compassion in life after looking at my scars. Each of them signified a man I had killed and or participate in their killing, and I was gonna do one for the prophet, but they took me into their trial, and I was then diagnosed with this illness.
And have you recovered from this feeling that you're describing to me?
How could I? I don't remember much. I was 8 when the flu struck. Arthur's death did surprise everyone. he was known to be a player. He played this game with an actor in the play, and the more women he got into bed, like the more he got than the other guy, he gained more kind of respect. And he was having an affair 22 minutes before the show even started. I heard he was doing something dirty with what's her name, Tanisha, someone from the backyardigan kind of name. Is that her name? I think. And then the pandemic, I can't pronounce the word. The pandemic, which is the flu, killed my parents. These events were the start of my traumatic era.
Can you describe the things that you survived?
I find that everything I've been through, survival is insufficient. I am a firm believer that in the notion humans must be humans and we must do the things we need to survive. For me, art is the best way. I did this art today, and it's just drawings of my thoughts. Yeah. And art is the best way to live truly instead of merely. I'm still wrestling the fragment memory of my old world, or the old world, not just everyone. I'm not the only victim. I know there was a lot of other people. But this is what I used in order to survive, because like I said, survival is not enough.
Okay, so I just want to like end the interview from there, because Kirsten seemed that she was very like emotionally still attached to all that whole situation of the flu and how much it really impacted her. It seemed like it really impacted her life, and I think that she's still stuck in the past by having schizophrenia, and it's just made it worse for her, her having these voices telling her to kill because she's trying to put the past behind her. But now I'm gonna interview Elizabeth and her son Tyler, so here's the footage for that. Hi, welcome, thank you for joining me today. Oh my god, you're like a real celebrity. You made Arthur. I'm just astonished. I don't think I'm saying that word properly, but I'm astonished. But I'm so sorry I'm fangirling. You were just like the Kanye to the Kim, because now we have the Kardashians. I'm not just saying you're old news. I'm just saying, like, you're such, like, wow.
Yeah, honey, shut up, Tyler, shut up. Yeah, he cheated on me with, cover your ears, boy, with that whore.
But she died from the Georgia flu.
I know, I'm being petty, but I'm just trying to teach my son the same lesson that your spouse should... that your spouse, because Jesus... to never cheat on your spouse, because Jesus is always watching you, and I don't want him to commit adultery. You know?
Okay, but regarding you hating Lydia, did you ever see that Arthur would cheat?
Ugh, yes, like 100, not 100%, but like at least like 70%, but like a majority of also like 100%. Okay, Tyler, like here you go. I did not ever hear from him for like 24 whole hours. But I do recall him saying that he was going to be gone all day because he was going to get interviewed by Clark. And he kept hinting that he was like on Global News. And I understand that he was famous. Like I was dating like Kanye to the Kim, like you were saying, like, you know. He kept hinting he was going to be on Global News for the first time later. And of course, later fans like tweeted out to me like, at Elizabeth Bits, this is what he's been saying. And it's like text messages from like him to like Lydia. It's crazy, girl. Like it's crazy. And I just still can't believe like I'm talking about this because it's been so long, and like the B word is dead. But eventually I discovered that he did make a plan with Clark to not tell anyone or to release the news for 24 hours. He was Clark had a tape recorder and he was recording everything that he was saying by audio. And then sorry, this corona is just so good. Like, my brain is just... After Arthur, I can't. but he was recording auditory, and Arthur told him like, yo man, like, it's not cool, like, don't record it, but like, don't like put out this news. I'm gonna tell you, just turn off your tape recorder. I'm gonna tell you, but don't release it for 24 hours. And I recall him saying that, well, not like visually me, like primarily, but this was like tertiary, because it's been on Twitter, Instagram, everyone's like, even the Islanders, like social medias, everyone's saying his dad's a fraud. He shouldn't be hearing that. His dad's like an icon. For 24 hours, he just left, and he picked up a new life. I think he was afraid of being a father, because Tyler was about, how old were you, son? How old was he? I think Tyler was about 2 at the time, and it was like his first ever son, because after Miranda, he told me he wanted to settle down, and girl, it was a mess. Not to be rude, but I expected that necessarily. He wasn't necessarily a ladies' man. He wasn't a gentleman. I'm just coming across as biased, but he was a little bit of a man whore. Yeah, he didn't seem too happy in the last marriage. And then usual, I figured out that it was denial the whole time, that he wants to settle down, but like he really doesn't. I'm sorry about that. You deserve better. You're way out of his league. Come on, you'll get another man. Oh, you mean hinting at me and you? Oh. Oh God. Thank you. I'm not gay. I'm like 100% straight. I'm happily married, and time's up. I'm like, thank you so much for your time. Like, that was the most uncomfortable interview. I really hope the rest are not like this. I really hope the rest are like, I'm gonna be biased, normal, because I don't think it's normal behavior to act like this in front of an interviewer, especially if this is gonna go on air, because I'm not cutting any of this footage out, not like Clark did. That's just some tea. I don't think it's appropriate, especially for a woman. She needs to keep in her pants. Jeez. Especially having a son beside her. Oof. To clarify, I know I'm not married. These are just my personal rings. I said that just to get her to stop flirting with me, because it's creepy. It's not creepy, and I'm not saying it's creepy like in our civilization. I'm just saying like it's weird to me because I'm straight. I'll get it on with guys and not girls. I was scared. So anyways, we're gonna move on to the next victim, Saeed. He's my personal favorite because this is so cute, the things that he did. I'm just really excited to interview him. Hello, welcome. Take a seat in our studio. This is brand new. Oh, would you like some help? Yeah, I'm doing much better than before. Thank you so much for asking. I just got through major surgery. And why exactly did you get shot? She's my ex-girlfriend, and I realized that I was still in love with her, so I tried to save Kirsten, who is my ex-girlfriend. But from being held at gunpoint from that delusional prophet, because we all were captured by that group of men. Did you ever see the prophet turning into this coming? Possibly. I think Kirsten really saw it coming more than us, because she was fearless. I assume she'd have to come across the prophet waiting for revenge, killing one of his men, which I think she dismissed this fear, because a cult is very serious and is also considered one of the mental illnesses, which is what I can get. Well, not to cut our time short, or not to be rude or disrespectful in any way, but that's all I really wanted to know from you. So it's only because you weren't mentioned in the story as much as I read. I only read up to the part that Kirsten was very into the story, and yes, I did interview her, and it's not good. But thank you for coming in, for your time and effort. I really appreciate that. You really do contribute to the stories that we are trying to understand in Station 11, and as we're gonna put it into Station 11.5. Of course, regarding this interview, I am always free. I have nothing to hide, no regrets. All I do is just confess for my love, Kirsten. Thank you for your time. I'm fangirling again. Like, Saeed is not that famous, but like, I'm not gonna lie, he's a bit fine.
He's such a sweet boy. He has his manners. It's too bad he didn't tell Kirsten how he felt. Like, they could have been high school sweethearts. They could have been the Kanye to the Kim. Aw. But it's no one's problem but his cowardness. So now we're gonna roll the clip of Jeevan, and Jeevan is our last victim, or I'll say interviewer. I feel so harsh saying victim. I feel like they've been like murdered, like they've been murdered or something, but they're not. So to clarify, just a little backstory of Jeevan. So Jeevan was the one who was first, I think, diagnosed with the flu, of what I read so far. And Jeevan took his time out of work, out of his life, and phoned everyone and told them about the flu, and yet no one believed him as much. So I'm going to see how that went. Hi there, Jeevan. How are you feeling today? Oh my god, your arm. I'm so sorry about that. It must be very difficult for you to take care of yourself all alone. Ah, I see. That's lovely. Oh my god, that's so cute. I do have a question. Did you ever see this flu changing the world and creating this new world that everyone was calling it? It was like a non-technology world. It's like back in like the 1900s, kind of like medieval world as everyone was describing it to me. Why didn't you spread more news like of this alleged news? Why didn't you spread it to many more people than you did? Like, you only spread it to Kirsten and August and I think the symphony, as of what I've read. I don't recall, but why didn't you? No, I don't mean it in that tone. No. I don't mean it in that tone. But thank you for your time. That'll be all I really needed. I just really was curious about why no one was listening to you and if you could have predicted this future. Thank you so much for your time. So, after finishing all those interviews, I feel obligated to say, don't eat those. I feel obligated to say that everyone who I have interviewed has their own way of survival. Like, there are gruesome ones, like Kirsten. I have such sympathy on her because she seems such like a strong girl in the story, because she is one of the main characters who is in the story of the uncurable flu, which is Station 11. And her way of survival was that killing anything, killing anyone, and all the scars on her arm. I remember specifically she had 3 for 3 men, and all these were men who wanted to attack her. I'm not sure about what the backstory is. All I know is that there could have been a 4th one if she had taken the role to kill the prophet, but luckily, also sadly, a boy in the cult with the prophet killed the prophet, which is the leader, but then the boy committed suicide, and Kirsten can't stop thinking about that. So it's very sad that she has to go through that, and I wish her the best. And then I interviewed Elizabeth and Tyler. So Elizabeth, if you don't know, is Arthur's second wife, who he cheated on later with Lydia, and I will say Elizabeth is so much more prettier. Elizabeth is like Kim K, and Arthur is like Kanye. But then he cheats on her with Chloe, the fat one, which is Lydia. So from the story, I'm comparing Lydia from the story to the fat Chloe from the Kardashians. I don't know if she's fat, or like chubby, I can't tell. I just find her, I just find that comparison so well because they do look a lot alike, as of what I've seen in the story. And Elizabeth was under the influence of, she was drinking a Corona extra drink or something. She needs to hit the vodka soon, because that is not gonna work for her. That does not do anything. That will make you just feel like a teenager, just drinking your problems away. And of course, I don't recommend it, because drinking your problems away will just make you come back like a boomerang, so don't do that. It's my main lesson of the day. And then I interviewed Saeed, and Saeed had a broken leg, and his leg was gonna be amputated I think a week from now, so he has to start using his only one leg, so he has crutches. I have such sympathy on him too, because he's such a sweet boy and he had such feelings for Kirsten. Excuse me. He had such feelings for Kirsten, and I wish he had the balls to just tell her, because they would seem just like a cute couple. They would seem like, what's his name? They would seem like Kylie and Travis Scott. Like, come on, future couple. Come on. And lastly, I interviewed Jeevan, who was the main, not the contribution to the flu, but he was technically, because he is the one who got the flu in the first place. It's like the flu we have today. Like last month, I probably got the flu, and this flu, but it is curable because we do have the medication, we do have the scientific, now this new scientific revelation where, why is my hair straight? The scientific revelation where we have so much antibiotics and we can cure a lot of things, but sadly a lot of other things need surgical performance or more. So unfortunate for Jeevan, and in this time where they did not have any particular like technological, I still can't get over my Malaysian accent. Oh my god. I can't stop saying Malaysia without laughing. And if only Jeevan would spread the news just much more, I think this flu would be less effective on everyone else, because if Jeevan had left the country, that would be a whole new situation, and this story would not be out. The story would just be Kirsten and Saeed falling in love. It would be Arthur before his death about... Never mind, Arthur can stay dead, because I don't think he would have stopped hyping. And as a 30-year-old, he did call women shorties, which is very disrespectful and so anti-feminist, which is so horrible, because that feminist theory just triggers me whenever I think about Arthur. He's just like the scumbag of our modern generation, and I think he could compare to a lot of books that I'm reading in classes. Just your typical scumbag. And if Jeevan had left, he could have died, or he could have got something like surgically removed or surgically done to remove this flu, taken any kind of antibiotics, or just gone to the doctors. Even after the doctors, I wish he would have gone to more than one doctor, because just going to one doctor and getting the news from that one doctor is not enough, especially with people like America. Wow, let's just unfold America real quick. This conclusion is a bit long, but it is a great analysis. So if you're very interested in the story, just like the O.J. Simpson story that I did. So Americans, I don't know about Canadians, but a lot of Americans, they are like diagnosed with things that are like uncurable. Like I know this girl in my school whose like foot is like numb. This is just what I understand. It's like numb, and it cannot be unnumb until she gets something like surgically removed. I think it has to be like her like toe, like the big toe. Is that what it's called? Like the big toe, this thing? And it has to be surgically removed, and it has to also have surgery on the toe and then put back in the foot. My point is, a lot of things in America, like a lot of kids have unlike curable situations, but they do go to more than one doctor, and all the 5 doctors that she went to all told the same thing, that she does do surgery, but it's not available until January 6th, which is very sad, because this is a real story. And that's... In addition, I've also asked the victims about... I'm trying to understand where they're coming from, and of course, how if they change, like by acting differently, like Elizabeth was like, and she was gone. She was a goner. No. Okay. Elizabeth was like a bit of a goner. If they're doing something differently or different than norm today, like Kirsten a little bit, but she does have an excuse, as she could have, like in my psychology notes that I conveniently have out that are alphabetical order and colored from AP Psychology. She could have post-traumatic stress disorder, which is an anxiety disorder that can occur after a traumatic event or just events in general, usually marked as the Hyatt arugula. So it's a thing in your brain that triggers this event. So I think she could have had this after the whole battle with the prophet, and her, I think, after being so like guarded with emotion and not like letting her thing down about like being able to kill anyone she wants, anyone who gets in her way, I think that eventually broke, just like Trump's wall that he wants to build. I think that eventually broke, and I think she just let out all her feelings. And I think that maybe someone in her family, like, she probably could have known, she could have not known, because her mom and dad did die when she was, I think, approximately 8 years old, which is fairly young because she does lose one of the family agents of civilizations, which is family. Family is a big one because you learn a lot. And after being on like the road for a very long time with August, I think she kind of like built her own kind of norms of civilization, like what she wants to do and like what's okay, what's not okay. A lot of this is psychological based, but I just wanted to let you guys know that. So this was the whole story. This whole analysis that I just explained for like 8 minutes was just me regurgitating, but also me explaining what I recognized from the interviews. And yeah, that's all I have for today. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking the time. And this video does not encourage I'll say it again like my last video, does not encourage beer. Do not drink beer. Drinking your problems will never work. That's my lesson of the day. Bye, guys.